Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jim Chaffin. I'm the chairman of the selection committee for the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame. It's my great pleasure and honor to welcome you to the largest Hall of Fame dinner in our 44-year history. Before we begin the program, I'm going to ask Brett Farnham to deliver our invocation. Brett's vice president and tournament chair for the Waco Tennis Association, and we try to collaborate here with our CTA. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. He just offers good prayers. Brett?
And I did pray for rain this morning, so that shows the power of good prayer, right? So, and again, like Jim said, I guess it's not tennis weather, so we better be inside celebrating all those that have contributed to it. So let us take a moment to give thanks and praise. Dear Heavenly Creator, thank you for allowing us to gather on this day to celebrate the contributions of tonight's inductees to this beautiful museum and Hall of Fame. Thanks for allowing us to travel safely and enjoy each other's company tonight. We give thanks for the wonderful sport of tennis that allows us to build community, friendships in a healthy and fun way. We appreciate the time and commitment of those on the Texas Tennis Museum and Hall of Fame Board of Directors and Selection Committee, and all those that work tirelessly to make tonight's celebration so beautiful and memorable. We especially give thanks to the gifts and talents of previous Hall of Famers and tonight's inductees. We are grateful and appreciative to be able to recognize David Davis, Emily Schaefer, Ken Simrow, and Kim Keltison, and their families and friends that have encouraged them, sacrificed, and supported their many hours on the courts, giving lessons and influencing countless tennis players, young and old. Gracious Creator, let us enjoy this evening and give thanks to you and bless the good meal we are about to partake. And the people said, Amen.
Thanks, Brett. You may go ahead and start working on your salads. Hopefully, I won't be up here so long. I'm going to go ahead and keep going. I didn't say you could start talking. I said eat your salads. Before we get into the program, I want you to meet the people that made this dinner possible tonight. Deanna Putnam and her staff are our event chairs. She's been doing this banquet for us for 8 years, and she's also responsible for the table decorations, the food, and the bar. I think maybe she overdid it on the bar. So, Deanna, I can't see you, but that's my fault, not yours. Paige Davis is our part-time employee, museum coordinator. She's the one that interacted with you inductees here. She built the inductee case you saw in the museum. She published the magazine that you have at your tables. You'll see her video a little later in the program. She's just done a marvelous job for us since she came to work for us in August of last year. By the way, your caterer tonight is George's Restaurant. They are absolutely the best restaurant in Waco, Texas. Carol Wayman, Joyce Dreslin, Susan Cassidy welcomed you at the Element Hotel. Where are you girls? Please stand up. There's Carol. I'm told that about 60 of you took advantage of our discount at the Element Hotel. Now, the Element Hotel, for your information, is our backup hotel. But Chip and Joanna Gaines of Fixer Upper Magnolia fame decided to have a big event in Waco. I hope their event wasn't rained out. But they booked all of the rooms at the Indigo Hotel. So we plan to go back next year and be with them. Willie Thompson is new with us today, tonight. He and his team from Robinson Independent School District are live streaming this event. I don't know if you've noticed how many cameras there are up here. I'm pretending like they're not there, but we're really happy to have them. This will be going out, or is already going out, on our Facebook and YouTube channels. Chase and Isaac here at the Texas Sports Hall of Fame are doing the AV tonight. You can't see them. They're behind this curtain. Mary Chaffin is back for her, we believe, 25th year as official photographer. And she asked me to be sure and remind all the Hall of Fame members, including the 4 sitting at these front tables, together as soon as the program's over for a group photo. I believe she'll probably have pictures of this event up on our website sometime tomorrow, or at least by Monday. Finally, Sarah White has made this event what it has become over the last 10 years. She stepped down this year to do some other things that she wanted to do, but she's the consultant to everybody that has stood up that's been a part of this event. So, Sarah, we couldn't do it without you. Thank you. During the past year, the Texas Tennis Museum and Hall of Fame lost 4 members of its board of directors for one reason or another, and we want to recognize them tonight with a small gift. Jeff Cox served on our board for 4 or 5 years. He was a representative of the Waco Tennis Association on our board. Jeff couldn't be here tonight. Claire, can you come up and accept Jeff's gift, or do you get too wet? Here she comes. Dick Landenberger also can't be here tonight. What was that? Thank you. For you inductees, Dick Landenberger was the one that came up with the idea to have these, have the inductee events at all the Texas professional tennis tournaments. So he's also handled the CTA exhibits and the collegiate exhibits. Emily Schaefer was on our board for about 4 years. But she left for bigger and better things. We hope she'll be back. She didn't do much while she was here. All she did was keep us in the right lane, and that's a big job. So, thank you. Sarah White resigned from our board last year, and then she turned around and doubled down on all that she'd been doing for us. She is allegedly our communications director. She designed and keeps up our website. She's handles our social media. She designed most of the exhibits that are in here. She worked with Paige on the new furniture. We couldn't run this thing without Sarah. Sarah, please come forward and accept this small gift from us. I didn't know where you were coming from. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies for tonight, Mike Carter. A lot of you know Mike. He's been around for a while. He started working at USTA, Texas when he was 10 years old. Now, how do I know that he was 10 years old? Well, you can help me with this. Here's how I came up with that. If you look at Mike over there, you would guess that he's 42 years old. He's been working for the section for 32 years. So that's how I got the 10. He's been working at the section so long that he's trained 3 executive directors, 2 of whom are here tonight. Get this, he's trained 16 USTA presidents, 4 of whom are here tonight. Mike has developed programs for youth and for adults. And then he travels throughout the state and introduces them to CTAs, tennis professionals, and high school tennis coaches. Some of those programs have been so good, they were adopted by USTA nationals, and then they had him travel all around the country to the various sections. So we're very lucky tonight that he had time to drop in and be our Master of Ceremonies. Please welcome Mike Carter.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hi. Oh. What is happening? Oh, the baton. The baton has been passed. Give it up for Kenny Mack, Mr. McAllister. You cannot spell McAllister without MC. He is the MC of all MCs. Thank you, Ken. He's my mentor. He's my life force. He's a friend. He's paved a lot of roads for me to make it to where I am, wherever that might be. So anyway, one more time for Kenny Mack. He's just taking a break. He's not giving this forever. He's just taking a break. Quickly, let's do this. And thank you for your attention. You've got plates of amazing food here. So I hate to be that guy that's in between you and food, but I am that guy for right now. So let's do this. Special guests. We've got some special guests in the house. We have Laura Lehman of the USTA Texas section. Where's Laura? Hi, hi. We have Fred Viancos of USTA Texas. The Racket Sports Professional Association. We have Mel McCree, I believe, somewhere in the house. I love the woo! Is Tasha Smith, Executive Director of RSPA, here? Let's do a woo for her anyway. Woo! For sure. Pete Praneda of the Waco Tennis Association, maybe the oldest tennis association in the U.S., maybe in Texas for sure. Pete, where are you, Pete? Is he here? He's way back there. Woo! Okay. And finally, the sponsor for our evening, the family and friends of Charlie and Emmerdale McCleary. Can we have a nice round of applause? I know Lee is somewhere here. And we have a woo. Yay, yay. Okay, so every year, the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame inducts individuals who have made a huge impact on our sport. They might be a coach, they might be a player, they might be a contributor of some sort. No matter what, they are amazing, and our game would not be like it is as now as without them. So, if you see a blue coat out there, That's one of our Hall of Famers. We got a big list. I'd like you guys to stand, please, when you hear your name. Remain standing, please, so we can recognize you once again this evening. Cindy Benson. Stand. There she is. Beverly Bowes is on her way, I think. Beverly? Okay. Jim Chaffin. Tommy Cannell. Joyce Dreslin. We can keep that applause going, baby. Dick King. We saw Dick. Mr. Dick King. Bobby Kleinecke. I did not see him this evening. Is Bobby in the house? We've got Kenny Mack. Lee McCleary for Charlie and Emmett. Rick Myers. We saw Rick earlier today. Rick, please, standing. Jeff Moore. Do we have Jeff in the house? There he is. Awesome. John Peterson may be sitting right there next to him. John Peterson. Chuck Sancelli. Yes, there's Chuck. Richard Schutte. We've got Bambi Schutte here. And of course, Emily. Nice round of applause. Hello, hello. Nancy Swenson. Is Chris in the house? Perhaps. Bev Taylor. Chris, hello. Bev Taylor. Fernando Velasco. In the house. I know he's here. Carol Welder. Also one of my mentors and life coaches. Carol Wayman. Hi, Carol. Ron Woods. Ron, hello. Kevin Foster. I know Mr. Kevin's here. Where's Kev? We got him? Yes, there he is, Kevin. And Kathy Bean. Hi, Kathy. Now, listen. I don't know. This was a fluid Larry Eichenbaum. A fluid deal. Throw a dinner roll at me if I've missed you, because it was a fluid situation here. Hey, big round of applause for all of our Hall of Famers. Thank you all for being here. And one last list, and then I'll get you back to your food. We'd like to recognize the Texas Tennis Museum and Hall of Fame Board of Directors. Again, Pete Pruneda, Jim Chaffin. Frank Kelly is not here, but let's give him a woo. Woo! All right, good job. Chuck Sancelli, Lee McCleary, Ken McAllister, and my favorite, Joyce Dreslin, is in the house somewhere. Hello, Joyce. Okay, I will be back to annoy you soon. Finish your food. Main course of the program is on the way. Let's do it.
In small town Texas, under the big sky, where the sun sets slow and the wind whispers by, boys and girls would hit balls on dusty courts, dreaming big dreams with the stars as their guides. The coach wore his old shoes, coach from the heart, teaching kids more than just to serve and depart. He taught them life lessons, resilience and grace, that every shot's a chance to make your mark in this place. Texas tennis, a legacy we hold dear in those small towns where champions were born. From the joy of the game to the fight for the ball, we carry on the spirit, let's make it stand tall.
Welcome back, everybody. How was it? The food was good. Can we have a woo for the food? I'll be doing some crowd interaction here a little bit. But first, we've got a very special guest. We have a Longhorn legend. They will be our guest speaker for this evening. 4-time All-American, 2-time Player of the Year, 8 years on the Pro Tour, top 50 ranking in the world. It's pretty amazing. Here we go. Beverly Bowes, Hall of Famer.
Thank you so much. I just want to tell you, I'm getting over anxiety. I was driven here by someone who believes if a truck is on this side and a barrier is on this side, you just go really fast, even though it's raining and people have lights on. So, wow, that I made it. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for inviting me. I want to say right off the bat, I keep telling Jim that this jacket is a size small, and he says I've grown over the years and not in the shoulders. So I'm trying really hard to wear this jacket. So take that into consideration with my speech, please. He asked me to speak, and he asked me to talk about what it means that I got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I just want to tell you really quickly, my first response was thank you, and I did the normal, I really appreciate that. And then I went back to my family and said, oh my gosh, like what for? Like, how did I get in? And I really, really had that feeling. And it came over me that I did a lot in tennis as a player. I was a junior, pretty good junior player. I played in college at the University of Texas. And by the way, we just won in overtime. I don't know if anyone saw that, but my friends have been telling me the score. So, but anyway, played in college. Jeff Moore taught me how to be a team player. I came in as an individual and left as a team player. And then from there, I went to college, after college, I went to the pros and got to coach at a high level girls that would go to Grand Slams for the USTA. And then I got to coach at the University of Texas as an assistant and then at SMU. And so I've done all these things being a player. And what happens with that, and if you're not like this, this is just my story, so this isn't everyone's, but it's very self-involved. It's very me-oriented. It's very, when you play on the tour, you're playing for money. And when I was inducted, or when I heard about my nomination, I just really felt like, wow, that's fantastic, that's amazing. But when I reflected, it kind of reminded me when I went to the tour, and for those of you who don't know, you lose once a week. That's what reality is. You lose once a week. And so when people go, wow, you played on the tour, I want to go, wow, I lost once a week. We're the players that play the people that are famous. And what happens is you're exposed to all your weaknesses at the pro level, because you're playing girls from France and Czechoslovakia and all over the world. And what I felt like, and this is how I'm going to get around to it, is when you get inducted into this, I've had the privilege of being on the selection committee. And what's been really cool about it is that I get to read about all these amazing people that have done all these amazing things. They've volunteered, they've given their time, they've worked with underprivileged, they've worked with handicap, they've worked with wheelchair, they've done Special Olympics. And I haven't really done any of that. I really didn't have that qualification in any of them. And it was kind of the same attitude when I got nominated and I started looking at the selection committee. And I just said to myself, how can I start getting better at these things? Because all you can do in tennis is try and get better. I had so many things to get better when I turned pro. I needed a backhand, I needed a serve, I needed a volley. Some footwork would have been great. But in regards to the Hall of Fame, I'm really trying to stretch myself to be as amazing as some of you guys, to volunteer. Sometimes it's at a difficult time and you want to say no and you want to say you're busy and you want to give an excuse, but I'm really trying to say yes a lot. I'm really proud Kelly Marshall had an idea to try and get more females involved in coaching, and my answer was yes. I'm all in. Let's do it. It's not necessarily paid. It's not necessarily perfectly, going off right off the bat, perfect, but we have things to work on, get more kids involved. So what I want to say is I really have a whole column. I hope they don't take my induction away from me here tonight. But if you have that column where you've done a lot in tennis on the tennis court and you have things to do off the court, community. Someone mentioned community at a talk, and I went, what is my community? How could I help? I have a ton of balls sometimes that are not too bad. Where could I give those? I've done things for charity. I've done things for sponsors, but it just really didn't compute to all the things that I've seen all these people have. So I'm going to get better, and I'm going to work on those. So that's what I really got from Jim asking me, is that I just wanted to be real on what my answer was to that. But I want to say that really quickly at that table right there, and I didn't know, Jeff Moore, you're here. Good to see you. At that table where Jeff's sitting, my parents were there and my brother was there. They weren't doing well. They were at the end of their days, and the induction meant everything to me, that they were there, and that my brother had to get one wheelchair in, another wheelchair. They didn't even make it to the end, but they got to get excited about it, and they got to think that I was good at something for a minute. So it was really, really cool and really special. So I want to thank the Texas Hall and of Fame, and I'm so excited. Some of these people that are going to get inducted are so impressive. Some of them have helped me for not $1. They just did it because I want to look to do that. So if someone needs me to do something that's, helpful in the volunteer, underprivileged, high school, maybe a college that isn't, just lighting it up. Maybe there's a college that needs some help, needs a hype up coach deal. Anyway, thank you for having me tonight, and y'all enjoy your night. Okay.
Well done, champ. Well done. Give it up one more time, Beverly Bowes. Thank you, thank you. I was sitting back there with one of my cohorts, Cindy Benson. Cindy? Yeah? Cindy does a lot with adaptive and wheelchair. Beverly, you were saying you want to do this. So let's connect. More stuff. Yeah. Very good, very good. All right, guys, thank you so much. So look, we're kind of now into part 3, a very important time. We're going to honor some individuals. We've got the 2025 inductees into the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame. These are exceptional individuals whose contributions have left a lasting impact on Texas tennis. Their dedication, achievements, and passions certainly have been an inspiration to the players and coaches and tennis fans across the state. So let's see. Roll call. Where's the David Davis table? Bring it! Come on! Stay. That's what we want. We got Kim Kettleson in the house, yes? Where's Kim I can't hear you. What about Emily Schaefer? Oh, there they are, right there. And what about Mr. Sumrow? Where are they? Okay. Hey, we're big tennis fans. Our sport would not look anything like it is without these individuals. So, please pay attention to the screen behind me for David Davis.
David Davis grew up in Abilene in modest circumstances, working at age 14 to help support his family of 5 brothers. When a middle school coach gave him his first racket, his natural ability turned tennis into both a passion and a path to opportunity. Excelling in high school led to college and a career in the sport he loved. Davis became a respected coach and leader, known for uniting teams and inspiring players. His leadership shaped the Abilene Tennis Association and positioned tennis as a vehicle for opportunity in the community. He eventually came full circle, returning to Rose Park Tennis Center. Over the next 2 decades, Davis enriched the community both economically and socially, leaving a lasting legacy for generations of players to come. Congratulations, David Davis, on your induction into the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame.
There he is. You definitely need one.
Oh, okay. Okay. Almost forgot these things for the second time. Hello, everyone. Man, what a tremendous honor to be here. I want to thank everyone who worked so hard to make this event possible tonight. It's truly an honor of a lifetime, and I am proud to be standing here with my fellow inductees. The last time I spoke to a crowd this size was at my daughter's weddings. So bear with me. At Kaylee's wedding, my phone died, and with it my speech. So I nervously introduced myself as father of the groom twice before I heard myself saying that. At Corey's wedding, I thought I'd learned my lesson with my printed speech ready, but I left my reading glasses in the dressing room. Couldn't read a word. My girls say I'm better at tennis than public speaking, so tonight I'm sticking to my notes. Here with me tonight is my wife, Jan, 43 years, put up with me. My daughters, Kaylee and her husband, Ramon, and Corey and her husband, Jason. Thank you. Also here are some of my close family, my McMurray tennis players and parents, plus many of my friends and colleagues. Thank you all for coming. It means a lot. When I think about my 2 biggest takeaways from tennis, I think about the importance of community and service. The game of tennis opened doors to an entire community who believed in me and provided opportunities for me to serve. Places like the USTA Texas section committees, the USPTA Texas division, and our local tennis association. Volunteering service to these organizations is what provides a solid foundation for local tennis growth, and I believe that with all my heart. A great man once told me, if you take care of tennis, tennis will take care of you. That great man is also in this Texas Tennis Hall of Fame and Museum, Coach Fred Niffen. One of the most powerful examples of community in my career came just days after 9/11. I had to decide whether to cancel our big USPTA Junior Grand Prix Championship event or move forward and have the tournament. All 12 Texas cities overwhelmingly supported my interest in moving forward and having the event. And to demonstrate our freedom to live and to do the things we want to do, in spite of terrorists trying to instill fear in our minds. We had over 750 people at that event, including parents, players, and even some of my own McMurray tennis team who volunteered every year as site directors. We gathered on a tennis court, had a 1-minute moment of silence, and then released over 750 red, white, and blue helium-filled balloons into the air. It was a spectacular sight. I mailed a group photo of all 12 Texas cities to New York's Mayor Giuliani and to our Texas governor, Rick Perry, to show Texas was praying for them and showing our support. I heard back from them both, expressing their thanks and their pride in Texas. That day showed what true community looks like, tennis style. I'm reminded of all the people who helped me along the way, my coaches, my teammates, family, and friends, too many to mention in under 5 minutes. But to name a couple who are here tonight, like Alan Pratchell, my lifelong friend, my teammate, and best man at my wedding. Some of the best memories are those late Friday and Saturday nights of the two of us playing on court 12 at Rose Park, and you bringing all the quarters for the lights. Thank you. I probably still owe him half of that quarters. Your coaching and your teaching and your skills as a UST official continue to inspire me, Alan. You have always been there for me, and your friendship means the world to me. And Dusty Oglesby, I remember the moment your dad stood up on our bleachers, middle school bleachers, watching as we passed 200 volleys and cheering us on as we reached the school record of over 345 volleys, or without missing. Or was it 385? I don't know. I think the number grows every time I tell it. But you had an amazing tennis career, and I was fortunate to have you as my head pro. But I am most proud of the man you are now, watching you grow with your family and your business, and I am beyond blessed to have you in my life. I also want to thank my players and parents from McMurray Tennis and Rose Park for allowing me to be your teacher and coach. I can't tell you how much it means to me to see you, some of you here tonight. I was proud of you then, and I'm proud of you now. It was truly a labor of love for me. And then lastly, 3 other names you may recognize who I consider as heroes of my story are my middle school coach, Ike Gross. Thanks for the best coaching a middle school beginning tennis player could hope for. And my high school coach, Mel Carter. Thanks for recognizing my ambition to excel in the sport of tennis in spite of limited resources, and for opening my eyes to the possibility of playing college tennis. And last but not least, Coach Fred Niffen, my college mentor and friend who made the phone call that changed my world, offering me a full tennis scholarship. That man was the epitome of using tennis to serve and love on others. For example, Coach Niffen, when Coach Niffen realized I had not been home to see my family for 8 months, he handed me his car keys and a $50 bill for gas, insisting I drive home to see my family for the weekend. Another example was when he somehow learned I had been surviving on crackers and ketchup for Sunday night meals since the cafeteria was closed Sunday nights. He immediately gave me a job mowing his yard every Sunday and hired me to help him on weekends during off-season resurfacing tennis courts. I knew then this is the kind of coach, the kind of man I wanted to be. I thank God every day for giving me this passion for tennis and for placing people like these in my life who believed in me. Every one of you has made me a better teacher, a better coach, and a better man. In closing, to the love of my life, Jen, thank you for putting up with all those late nights, the weekend trips, and for always supporting me. I love you. I would not be here without you. And to Kaylee and Corey, I am the proudest girl dad there has ever been. Your families, including my son-in-laws, Ramon and Jason, and my grandkids, Asher, Jet, and Hallie, you are the next chapter in my tennis story. Thank you, everyone.
David Davis, everyone. Our next inductee, Kim Kettleson.
Kim Kettleson began playing tennis at age 9, earning his first sportsmanship award the following year. By 1966, he was ranked number 12 in Texas boys 16s and later rose to number 11 in boys 18s. After excelling at Midland High School, he accepted a full scholarship to Southeastern Oklahoma State University, where he captured 4 consecutive conference singles titles and helped his team secure 4 championships. Kettleson's competitive career extended across multiple decades, with national rankings that included top 10 finishes in senior divisions. As a teaching professional and tennis director, he built a long and accomplished career, distinguished by tournament victories, awards, and unwavering dedication to the game. Widely known as Coach K, Kettleson is remembered as both a competitor and a mentor who made a lasting impact on Texas tennis. Congratulations, Kim Kettleson, on your induction into the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame.
Well, it is truly an honor to be here. I've spent my life playing tennis in Texas basically. And one of the things I really need to thank is my lovely wife. She's been with me and had patience as I've traveled all over Texas and playing and let me do what I do. I've missed a lot of family opportunities for that, but she's hung in there with me, and I love her for helping me out. My story is that I grew up in Midland, Texas. I moved to Midland, Texas when I was 9 years old, and I was fortunate that my parents moved into a house which was 3 blocks from Midland High School and tennis courts. And I was also fortunate enough that 2 boys across the street played tennis. I had never thought about tennis before in my life. And they got me involved in tennis. They gave me my first tennis racket. They gave me I remember the day, he came across the street, gave me a wooden tennis racket with a brace on it. My first thought was, gee, this is pretty heavy. And I remember the guy said words I can't repeat. He said, no, you got to take the thing off. But be sure to put it back on after you play. I said, oh, well, this is a clue. So I said, okay. So I go down to the high school, and I'm trying to hit on the wall. I'm 9 and a half, 10 years old. Not really doing that great, but all of a sudden I look at my racket, and my racket starts doing this. So he gives me a warped racket. Well, I had that racket for a while. My parents, I played with it. I'd put it on the brace. I'd take it home, put bricks on it. I did everything I could, being 10 years old, thinking I could straighten that sucker out. Well, it never happened. But anyway, my parents finally got me a racket. They decided this is a good sport he could play. And whatever success I've ever had in tennis happens to be, people in the Hall of Fame happen to be involved in my life in every step of the way. I took my first lessons, a group lesson, when I was, 10 years old, from the Midland High School tennis coach at the time. He made it fun. I enjoyed it. A good teacher. His name was Bob Mapes. Bob Mapes left that summer, went down to HEB Tennis Center and made HEB famous. The next guy in my life was Coach David Kent. If you ever know anything about David Kent, he was a pretty fiery competitor. And through the years, growing up from 12 on to high school, my dealings with him, he actually helped me become a better competitor just simply because I didn't want to hear him talk to me. I'd want to stay out on the court as long as I could to do whatever I could to stay out there. Also growing up in Midland, I was very, very fortunate to have 3 people who were very good tennis players. One of them was Bill Harris. Bill Harris was one of the best juniors in America at the time. And there's a story where at Kalamazoo, when it was on grass, he played Whitney Reed in the semifinals barefooted. And that's a story that you can talk to his nephew Bob back there. But then another guy, Bobby Curtis. Those two guys spent a lot of time with me, helping me learn how to play, learn the game. I was very fortunate to be around them and for them to help me. When I was a senior in high school, a gentleman moved into Midland. He was in the computer science business, I think. And his name was Dick Landenberger. And I can still see Dick with his T2000 racket, his towel neatly folded in his shorts, pounding balls at me. And we played a lot my senior year. And I was trying to play college tennis. And I'm really thankful to him for playing with me and helped me get used to playing the game in college. Wonderful person. I love the man to death. He really helped me. I go to college, have a good college career, do pretty good. I get out of college, I graduate in 1972, and I don't know what I'm going to do. Well, Coach Kent jumps back into my life again. He calls me, and if anybody's ever been involved with Coach Kent, he sort of tells you what to do. And he says, this is an opportunity you gotta get into. And I didn't know. I said, okay, well, what am I going to do? He said, well, there's a little club in San Angelo, Texas, that's looking for somebody to teach tennis. Here's the name, here's the number, and here's the name. And he tells me the name was George Ritchie. Well, in 70, I believe, Cliff Ritchie and Nancy Ritchie were the first brother and sister team to be ranked at #1 in America. So me being the smart guy that I am, I said, well, is it related? And so he says, yes, it's her father. So I called George, he calls the chairman of the committee of the club. I go for an interview. I interview with the committee guy. I go talk to George. George likes me, so George says, hire the kid. So I got hired, and I was lucky enough to spend 8 years with George. And being able to hit tennis balls with Nancy and Cliff was really special. But the thing about George taught me how to teach tennis. George taught me how to play better tennis. And he taught me skills how to analyze a tennis match and analyze players' weaknesses or trends. He just spent a tremendous amount of time with me. And in San Angelo, I was teaching a little bit, but using his skills some, but not as much. And I moved to Austin. Took a job at the Courtyard Tennis Club in Austin, which is now the Courtyard Racket Club. And helped juniors. I was using the skills George taught me, doing pretty well. And one day I get a phone call. Coach Jeff Moore calls me up. He says, I hear you're a pretty good player and you don't mind playing with women. I said, well, no, okay, I played with Nancy Ritchie for 8 years. I think I can do whatever I wanted to do there. He says, well, do you mind playing with one of my players? I said, sure, we'll do this. So we arrange a time, come out, but before he hangs up the phone, he says, look, you have to beat her and you have to frustrate her. I said, well, okay, we'll see what happens. Coach Moore always told me that every time I'd play with some of his players. So who shows up? Beverly Bowles. Beverly at the time was 44 in the world. And as I recall, I beat her and I frustrated her. And so became my life with Jeff Moore. In 1994 maybe, was it? He calls me up and asks me if I want to be a volunteer assistant for the women's tennis team. In 1993, they won the NCAAs. And I'm thinking, this is great. I can use the skills that George taught me at a high level and see how I do. So I'd go, and I'm with Coach Moore for about 5 years, learning how to run a practice, learning how to manage a team with very good players on it, learning discipline, how to do things. And in 95, I was lucky enough to be a member of a team that won the NCAAs again. So Jeff is very innovative, learned a lot of new skills from him. And About in 2000, I believe, I get a call from Fred Niffen. Fred calls me up and says, David Kent told me to call you. So Kent jumps into my life again with another unbelievable opportunity. Fred had started the tennis management program at Tyler Junior College, and they were looking for somebody to come in and direct the program. Fred being Fred, told me how great it was, so Cheryl and I, we got in a car, we drove to Tyler, did the interview. The dean liked me, the dean liked Cheryl better, and I got the job. So basically, I started a career as teaching students how to teach tennis, using the skills I learned from George and the skills I learned from Jeff, and trying to manage and get these kids to get them out on the court and get them jobs and help them to get in the tennis community. Well, while I'm there, naturally, TJC had a tennis team. Coach John Peterson was the head coach, who had already won numerous national titles at that level. And for the first couple of years, I was sort of like a volunteer. I wasn't that quite a member of a team yet. I had to get my organization straight. But I eventually became an assistant coach. And I'd never coached men at a high level before. So there again, I got to use my skills that I learned from George and Jeff, coaching men and women, and learning from Coach P. What a tremendous experience I've had. One of the things about Jeff and Coach P, they're very innovative how they do practice. They're very disciplinarians. They want their kids to get better, and they deal with a lot of different things. Coach Peterson is a master at dealing with his students. He's a leader of men. I wish I had his qualities, but if he would deal with weight management problems, eating disorders, language problems, because we had a lot of international players. He always had a good way of doing it, and there's many times if I'd walk into the exercise room, and here he is on a stair stepper next to one of his players on a stair stepper, showing them how to get fitter, wanting them to get fitter so they could move on and play college tennis at a higher level. So I've really been blessed by members in this Hall of Fame, and I'm really excited and proud, and I really thank the committee for selecting me, and I truly appreciate being here. Thank you very much.
Mr. Kim Kettleson, thank you. Our next inductee, Emily Schaefer.
Emily Schaefer of Houston came to tennis naturally, growing up in a family of ranked players. As a junior, she distinguished herself with top state rankings. Schaefer went on to build a distinguished career at Princeton University, where she captured nearly every major collegiate honor. After college, Schaefer returned to Houston as an assistant coach at Rice University and later as director of tennis for the Houston Parks and Recreation Department. She became a dedicated volunteer at every level of the game, focusing especially on expanding access for underrepresented groups. Through national junior tennis and learning programs, she reached more than 6,000 children. Schaefer's career has also included leadership roles with the Houston Tennis Association and service on the USTA National Board of Directors, reflecting her lasting commitment to advancing the sport and broadening its reach. Congratulations, Emily Schaefer, on your induction into the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame.
I have been so blessed in my life. Certainly tonight is a memory that will remain special forever. I would first like to express what an honor it is to be among my fellow inductees and to be included with those who came before us. Personally, it means a lot that I follow my father, Richard Schutte, who was inducted with the class of 2001. I am grateful to those who initiated my nomination and those who wrote letters of support, and I appreciate the Texas Tennis Museum and Hall of Fame staff and volunteers for all their work tonight as well as throughout the year. I have seen the amount of dedication and passion they have, and we all benefit from it. Tonight, I feel surrounded by love, and unlike tennis scoring, where love means nothing, it means everything tonight. If I tried to call out individual names, I'd be here forever and undoubtedly leave someone out. So I'm briefly going to mention some groups before highlighting just two individuals with perhaps the biggest influence on what led me to this point. First, let me say how much I appreciate the Houston Tennis Association, board members and staff who are here tonight. I am grateful for the opportunity to work for HTA and especially touched that so many of the staff made the trip to show their support. Thank you, HTA. Next, I would like to recognize USTA Texas, its volunteers and staff, for the important role they have played in the last 2 decades of my life. So many talented and generous people that I've had the pleasure of serving with. And that opportunity led me to the USTA National Board, which was an experience like no other. Thank you, USTA Texas and USTA. I'd like to thank my NJTL colleagues, all of whom have a special place in my heart, my co-workers at Houston Parks and Recreation, fellow NJTL chapter leaders, those that support the gala and work so hard to support the kids. Thank you, friends of NJTL. And I see some lifelong friends and my immediate and extended family members who have supported me no matter what that are here tonight. Some coming from as far as Oregon or Montana, others from Houston or Katy. It means so much to share this night with you. I want to pay tribute to 2 individuals. First, my college tennis coach at Princeton University, Louise Gangler-Thomas, who surprised me by attending this event. Louise is a very large part of the reason I entered into coaching, because she had such a significant and positive influence on me. Thank you, Louise. The other person I want to recognize has been the best partner I could have hoped for, both on and off the court. My mom, Bambi Schutte, has been someone to respect, admire, and love. I have to believe the 18 gold balls were part of the reason I was selected, and I've got to admit those were all because of my mother-daughter partner. I love you, Mom, and I'm so glad you made the trip. Before I leave, I just wanted to add a little bit more. My father, Richard Schutte, came from humble beginnings. Growing up in the 2nd Ward in the shadow of downtown Houston, his family life was far from perfect. At age 12, he started rolling the clay courts at the Municipal Tennis Center. As he developed as a tennis player and a person, the people he met at the tennis courts became mentors for him. It was a group of tennis friends who made it possible for him to go to college at the University of St. Thomas in Houston and then medical school in Galveston after that. Were it not for those tennis friends supporting my dad, my life could not have been as full and stable as it has been. One of the things I like to say when I was coaching was that the ball doesn't know who's hitting it. In other words, the ball does not care who's the higher seed. It does not know the age, gender, background, or social status of the players. The ball simply goes where the racket makes it go. I appreciate the objectivity of this outlook. A player can focus on the ball and not the preconceptions that may interfere. This fuzzy little ball brings together people from all over the world and lets opponents put forth as many obstacles as they can in an effort to defeat one another. We need these opponents to test our skills and push us farther. Tennis players compete hard during a match, But at the end, they show respect and shake hands, acknowledging that one person's skill outperformed the other by making the ball go where it needed to go. I have seen the sport bring together rich and poor, public tennis centers and private clubs, NJTL programs and pro tournaments, and countless other combinations. I know the fuzzy little ball has brought you together with friends you would have never known. I'm so glad it has brought me here tonight. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. And our final inductee for this evening, Ken Sumrow.
Growing up in Celeste, Texas, Ken Sumrow played many sports before finding his calling on the tennis court. As an adult, he and his family spent over 30 years uniting their love of tennis with community service, raising more than $3.5 million for the Pauline Allen Gill Center for Cancer and Blood Disorders at Children's Health, where his son Clint was treated for cancer at age 5. Their Children Helping Children tournament remains a lasting legacy of hope. Sumrow also gave generously of his time to Texas tennis, coaching high school players and teaching throughout Plano's parks and recreation facilities. Best known for his long association with High Point Park Tennis Center, his leadership extended statewide and nationally through service with USPTA, where he earned numerous honors for his professional contributions and for his facility. Congratulations, Ken Sumrow, on your induction into the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame.
First, I want to say that I'm very honored to be here, to be inducted into the Texas Tennis Hall of Fame. It's quite an honor. It's quite a group, quite an accomplished group to join. I appreciate Jim and Paige and the organizers putting me on this nice event. I want to recognize some different groups that are here, kind of representing me. One, we've got my family. I think we've got 3 tables of my family, including my wife, Pam. We've been married 49 years. We've got my daughter. I've got 2 daughters and son, Clint. They're in the different tables. We've got a group of players from High Point Tennis Center, current players, current employees, past employees. Appreciate you being here. Let me look at the notes. We've got players from my high school tennis teams here. I believe the years were 73 through 75. Really appreciate them being here. And finally, we've got friends of mine from the Dallas Longhorn Lunch Bunch, probably the rowdy group in the back. Anyway, I appreciate all of you being here. I want to run through people who have influenced me, who have helped me along with my career. I'm going to go through a list pretty quickly. We have time limits, so it's going to be quick and short and quick. Okay, first, my parents. They taught me the value of behaving well, working hard, making good grades, earning a college degree. Wouldn't be here without them. My high school coach, G.W. Tillerson, who was inducted into the Texas Tennis Coaches Hall of Fame, I believe it was in 1988, was a big influence on me. He was an excellent coach. He really cared about his players, had a big impact on me. My high school players, some, like I said, are here. I learned from them that I really enjoyed teaching tennis. I love teaching tennis, and I love coaching tennis. And the other thing is I loved the relationship that you build teaching tennis. And so they had a huge impact on me. The city of Plano. The city of Plano has been wonderful. They've given us everything we ever needed at High Point. Just a wonderful organization that took care of us. It's the way it should be done in all cities. Next, want to recognize my fellow pros from USPTA Texas. When I first started, I was really inexperienced. I learned a lot from other guys, other women that were teaching tennis. Really couldn't have done without them. Of course, eventually I joined the USPTA and started going to the seminars, conventions, and they were wonderful, great educational opportunities and great networking opportunities. So I feel like, again, I wouldn't be here without USPTA Texas. USTA, as some have said already, such a fine organization that has always helped all tennis pros in Texas. Had wonderful relationships there. They were particularly helpful in helping us run tournaments, run leagues. Then we need to talk about the DTA. DTA, same thing. They organize a lot of leagues, help keep our courts full. I wouldn't be here without them. The players at High Point. We've had a lot of players at High Point where they took lessons, played leagues, played tournaments, and wouldn't be here without them. It's just been wonderful. And one of the most important groups were our staff at High Point. And when I say staff, I'm talking about teaching pros, front desk workers, the court maintenance worker, stringer, social media person, the buyer. They all have just been committed to making High Point a great facility to play out of and to learn tennis. And I can't thank all those guys enough, all those guys and girls. Excuse me. I need to thank my children. All of them played tennis, played junior tennis at High Point, grew up in the programs, always helped promote the programs. They worked in the shop, they worked tournament desk, some of them strung rackets, did anything we asked. And I'm very proud of all of them, very proud of them and their grandchildren. Finally, I mentioned Pam. Pam's been my biggest supporter, chief advisor, best friend. Couldn't have done it without her. And basically, I just want to thank everyone for being here. I want to thank Jim and his group again for organizing this. And thank you.
Well, 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 that is it. Can we have one more round of applause for all of our Hall of Famers? All of the Hall of Famers, and Ken, Emily, Kim, David. What a wonderful night. Best night ever. Can we have one big woo? Okay, we've got some weather out there. You guys have places to go. Get out of here, but be safe. Arrive alive. I love you. We'll see you next year. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.